welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tales of Honor Podcast. I'm your host, Christoph Ambrosch. Tonight's episode is episode 89, and it's going to be a little bit of a confusing one, just to give you a little heads up. But pay attention, and you'll soon know why. It's being brought to you by The Bearded Detailer, so please head on over to thebeardeddetailer.com. And why? Well, all of your automotive detailing solutions will be there. Everything from being able to keep the outside clean to the inside clean, and being able to protect your investment with great products made right here in the USA. Use the promo code TOH10, and that's going to get you 10% off your order. And every order that uses this promo code will have 75% of its profits donated to the Congressional Medal of Honor Society. The Bearded Detailer, where your dirt is his business. And now, a tale of honor. Ernest A. Janson was born on the 17th of August, 1878 in New York City and served in the U.S. Army from 1900 to 1910. He then enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps in June of 1910 and served until 1914. After several days after his enlistment ended, Ernest re-enlisted with the Marines and went on to serve on the USS Nebraska until January of 1915. He would have several duties and locations before sailing to France aboard the USS DeKalb on the 14th of June, 1917, and it was his actions 1 year later in France that would earn him not one, but 2 Medals of Honor. The citations read, "The President of the United States of America, in the name of Congress, takes pleasure in presenting the Medal of Honor Army Award to Gunnery Sergeant Charles F. Hoffman, United States Marine Corps, for extraordinary heroism while serving with the 49th Company, 5th Regiment Marines, 2nd Division, AEF, in actions in Chateau Thierry, France, 6 June 1918. Immediately after the company to which he belonged had reached its objective on Hill 142, several hostile counterattacks were launched against the line before the new position had been consolidated. Gunnery Sergeant Hoffman was attempting to organize a position on the north slope of the hill when he saw 12 of the enemy, armed with 5 light machine guns, crawling toward his group. Giving the alarm, he rushed the hostile detachment, bayoneted the 2 leaders, and forced the others to flee, abandoning their guns. His quick action, initiative, and courage drove the enemy from a position from which they could have swept the hill with machine gun fire and forced the withdrawal of our troops. At Chateau Thierry, France, June 6, 1918, he displayed coolness and extraordinary heroism throughout the attack. During the counterattack of the enemy, he, armed with a rifle, charged and routed a group of machine gunners." Now, if you're wondering who Charles Hoffman is, well, that is Ernest. Or Ernest is Charles. To tell you the truth, I'm not entirely sure why there is a name discrepancy. I do know that he legally changed his name, but I have found sources that say he changed it to Charles, and some sources that say he changed it to Ernest. I am more inclined to believe that Ernest had legally changed his name to Charles, since that is the name on his gravestone. Regardless, Ernest received both the Army and Navy Medals of Honor, making him one of 5 Marines during World War I to do so. You no longer can receive more than 1 Medal of Honor for the same incident. Ernest went on to not only finish his 2nd and 3rd enlistments with jobs such as recruiter in New York City and pallbearer for the burial of the unknown soldier on Armistice Day in 1921, but retired from his 4th enlistment as a sergeant major on the 30th of September 1926. Ernest A. Janson, or Charles F. Hoffman, died on the 14th of May, 1930 in Long Island, New York, and is buried in the Evergreen Cemetery in Brooklyn, Section Orient Hill. And that was a Tale of Honor. Thank you so much for listening to Tales of Honor Podcast. I know you like this podcast, so please be sure to leave a nice review and a good rating so that others searching for this podcast will know that you like it and that they may like it too. Be sure to tell your friends and family, and you can see more information on Facebook, Instagram, and at talesofhonorpodcast.com. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them over to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Christoph Ambrosch. Thanks for listening.